Choosing a psychedelic experience, whether or not it's your first time, something you've done a long time ago, or something you've built your life around, is never an inconsequential choice. Taking the action to change your life is a big one, and sometimes things don't always go as planned. In this video, I share with you my latest psychedelic experience with psilocybin mushrooms and how I got the healing that I needed but didn't necessarily expect. I hope that this video highlights for you that psychedelic medicine works in mysterious ways. I am preparing for myself a psilocybin journey. It has been over 6 months since I journeyed last. In the beginning days of my psychedelic use, it looked a lot like making sure the space was safe that I was going to be in and turning on some music, and whatever would happen, would happen. I'd never set a real intention other than to remain open to whatever the experience was that wanted to come. The intention of my journey is to release with a curiosity of what lies beyond the other side. I know that for myself, there's a deep feminine mystery and magic that wants to be explored. Movement, which I think will be an important part of embodying and releasing the layers of shame that I intend to work through in my journey.
Nothing about last night was anything at all even remotely what I expected it to be. Even close. And
I'm so excited about this right now.
it seemed like it was either coming on really hard or whatever. You seemed like you were like really fighting to stay upright. And then you started shaking, and the shaking was like, I guess I'm just curious, like, do you just fully remember everything? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shaking was intense.
The playlist started, and it was fun in the beginning. It was exactly what I wanted. It's like, I still stand by, that would have been great. Just so much was changing so quickly inside of me.
Changing the onset of the mushrooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for a while meaning maybe 2 whole songs.
Mm-hmm. So like 6 minutes or something?
Yeah. So that whole long time, I don't want to say manageable, but like in a good place. And then at some point, it went past that threshold and I went too far. That's when the shaking started to get really intense. And so I sat down and I was just trying to be like with the music. And I could tell that the songs were playing that I really like wanted to be with. And at that point I could feel the disassociation was kicking in. Tell that I wanted to feel something, but I couldn't access what it was at all. That one song, Wild Woman, every single time I play it in the car, I cry. Every single time. And so I expected that, and it was at that point where I was aware that I wasn't feeling what I should or thought I would be feeling.
Yeah.
I just felt nothing, like no feeling experience, and I just felt really high. And so it was right after that I had to turn off the music because that just wasn't right to me.
Yeah.
You know, because I couldn't barely keep my eyes open and I was just tremoring and shaking. I would say it's atypical, and I would say that it wasn't the most fun thing I've ever done. And yet it still feels like medicine. I don't feel like I journeyed in this like euphoric sort of ethereal way, but my mind went on a journey, and my body went for sure went on a journey.
Your body went on a journey, holy shit.
And so I think it's interesting because I think we do think about journeys being this sort of like spirit journey.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got a body journey.
Yeah.
That's kind of what stands out to me
Yeah.
in it, because it was just so disassociated
Yeah.
and so confused. And the only thing that I could grasp was what felt good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and like, I've been thinking about like, why could I even tell that something felt good? Where was I?
And kind of what I've settled on, maybe not settled, but like just in thinking about it while you were sleeping, is obviously complicated. But what I think I was experiencing was loss of all context. Because I obviously could talk, and I could even like remember things. You know, I was talking about climbing.
I mean, you could, but you could.
Yeah.
You could remember things, but it was like,
But I had no
here's a
reason.
piece of glass of this shattered window. Oh yeah, I remember this piece of glass.
But I had no context for anything.
Yeah. You were really funny. That feels good. Climbing feels good. You feel good. Liam's safe feels good.
Yeah.
Like, it was like every time you'd say something, you gauge, I guess, whether or not it felt good or not. You said that's all you could grasp. But I just was noting it as a really interesting like pattern last night. I like asked you if you knew who I was, that I'm your husband, and you're like, yeah, but I don't know what that means. Don't understand what husband means, or
or like why, or
or anything. Just like I remember that, and that feels good, but I don't understand it.
I felt mostly okay that was happening because of the affirmations, you know, and me asking you. I was like, I chose this. I'm like, well, like, I didn't understand why I did that, but if I chose it, I trusted myself in it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And so that felt like enough peace for me. It was interesting trying to like figure anything out.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I was just like, okay, I chose this for myself. It's not normal. It'll end. Everybody's good, and I'm good.
Yeah. But then one of the things that you said is, will I be glad I did this tomorrow? And I was like, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you glad you did it? We'll ask you again tomorrow.
I understand why I did it now.
I think that what stands out is really interesting to me. I know you had your envision of this like, you know, this like journey arc with this music and your power and all of that, but I really thought last night and still sort of believe that this journey will have been really transformational for you. Because you intentionally, prior through TRE and this and that, have like retaught your body how to do this really imperative skill. And my sort of like perception of it is you know, we went to your mom's grave and you had that experience and you were shaking quite a lot there. You've been shaking. It seems like something your body really wants to do. And I feel like there's no way in hell in your normal waking life that you would have allowed yourself to just thrash for like 7 hours straight. Like there's no way that you would have created the space for that to happen.
Yeah. Well, I did create the space.
Well, you did. Yeah, but like, you know.
Yeah.
And also you were able to sort of, in a way, check out through the disassociation and just allow it to happen. Like there wasn't anything for you to do. You couldn't have this like long intellectual thought journey or anything like that. You wouldn't have been able to do what you did in this big story arc, right? You just were like, I can't do anything except lay here and wait and just let your body be. And you seemed completely unfazed by that it was happening.
Yeah, it felt good. Yeah, I think that feels pretty spot on because clearly it feels like just this like very bizarre like dual experience. Like there's the mental experience, which was so different than anything else. that I've experienced and the body experience. I guess I'm just curious, like, how my nervous system feels, or how my like stress levels feel, or my anxiety feels later on.
Yeah.
All of that could be completely different than we think it was, or
Sure.
what it is, or how we're trying to compartmentalize it.
Mm.
Maybe something completely different was happening.
Yeah.
But if that's not true, and it is in this vein of thought, which is this like amplified TRE experience
Mm-hmm.
with my mind disassociated to just allow
Mm-hmm.
the storage of my body. You know, there's a lot of things in there.
Yeah.
A lot of shit in there. And it would make perfect sense to me that I would need to thrash for 7 hours
Yeah, for sure.
to work some of that out.
Yeah.
And my stress levels. It's so hard because like I don't feel like a stressed out person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that by outside standards,
Yeah.
people would look at me and not think I'm stressed. I don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job. I don't have to sit in gridlock traffic.
Yeah.
I'm not a emergency services call operator. Those feel like stressful things, right? And I think that I seem and appear, and in some ways feel like a relaxed person.
Well, you've found a lot of really good ways to deal with your stress too. Like you've worked through it. A lot of people are just stressed and haven't found a way to deal with it. And so it's just like,
Yeah.
bah, all the time.
But my internal spaces feel, I think that maybe I don't interact with the world from a stressed place,
Yeah.
but my internal spaces feel tight and rigid
Yeah.
and stuck.
Yeah.
A lot of the times. And there's that like movement, that run instinct, you know? And
Yeah.
last night I saw him like, this was just all the trauma.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what that was before.
Yeah.
It was just the trauma. I was in flight.
Yeah, you're embodying I'm not safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was living in run
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we've been talking so much about rest, right? That it's time to rest, that you need to rest, that you're running and exhausted all of the
But
time.
I never feel like I rest all the way.
Well, but how could you rest if your nervous system is always in, we have to run.
Mhm.
Like, right now, we have to run. How could you possibly rest? So maybe this is just the release that you needed, so that you could say, like, calm down nervous system, like, we got this out now. We ran, we shook it out. We're safe.
Yeah.
We can rest. It's okay.
At the time I'm recording this, it will be exactly 1 week after my journey. I'm elated to say that I honestly feel better than I have in a long time. For the past many months, I've been dealing with chronic fatigue and some emotional overwhelm. It feels so wonderful to be entering back into what feels like my true self. I've been energized, I've been excited, and feeling creative, as well as not even mentioning the fact that my body feels great. I will say that there was some interesting side effects in the week following this experience leading up to now, where my back in particular, but all of my bones, were cracking quite a bit and popping just as I moved. I was curious if this could potentially be coming from just a loosening in my muscles, allowing my frame to pop quite a bit more from this experience. A lot of what ended up coming through during my journey and what was mentioned in the video prior is TRE. This stands for Trauma Release Exercises. About 2 months ago, I had my first experience with TRE with a practitioner here in Portland, Oregon. And the experience was pretty impactful for me. After my first TRE experience, I could tell that it was something my body very desperately needed. Since then, I have experienced TRE trickling into my everyday life, including during yoga and other relaxation practices, seeming like a clear indication that my body wanted to tremor and release this built up trauma. It feels like it's no surprise that this journey took that turn and utilized this opportunity to allow my body to release the trauma that it has been stored up over a lifetime, really. If this is something that you're curious about without the psychedelics, I will link it below. And I hope that this video has given you an insight into the diversity of what a journey can look like. Oftentimes it is a spiritual, still relaxed experience where your mind and your spirit wanders and you're able to process your emotions, your trauma, your feelings, and release whatever has been stored up inside through emotionality. This, however, is a clear example that sometimes that's not what you get. I did have an emotional and trauma releasing experience, but through my body. I hope that this video helps you make an informed choice about whether or not you would like to choose to interact with psychedelics for personal transformation. Thanks for watching.